In 1969, winter of 69-70, I was in San Francisco looking for some truth. I thought, if there's not some truth, I might just check out. I was really frustrated. I didn't like the options of either I'm going to go to hell because I picked my nose once, or I'll get a harp to play, and I didn't like harp music that much, and I didn't like hell that much, so I thought, this is not a good option. I need to expand my horizons here. And San Francisco had all these interesting gurus and teachers and all kinds of things, and I just checked everything out, but it wasn't until this guy Arthur that had this big blue book let me look at his book one day, and of course, you know how it is when you start to read this book, it's like, whoa, the sentence structure, and somebody really intelligent put this together. It sounds like almost beyond human possibility. And I had this whole experience where the book just melted into this golden light and flooded into my soul, and I thought, wow, the I Ching didn't do this. No other book ever did this to me, so I guess I better get a copy. But it took me 2 or 3 years before I finally realized, oh, I've got an epical revelation of truth in my hands. It was just like stunning, because I always thought, if God's so omnipotent, where the heck is he? You know, how come I can't see him? God's everywhere. Well, where everywhere, you know? And then once I had this book and I knew what it was, I thought, wow, God does actually speak to us. He does actually reveal himself, you know, if you're willing to have this information. So eventually I found other readers, went to a conference, and first conference in Lake Geneva, and met other readers and started getting involved and started a study group, and had lots of people show up in Coeur d'Alene where I lived, and they were just moving up to Coeur d'Alene from all California and other places. We had a great study group for many years. But I kind of reached a point where I was just tired of studying, and I just wanted to go out and do some service. The first workshop I ever did at a conference was about service, because this was before the internet, and you couldn't do word searches, but I kept noticing the word service all over the Urantia book, and I thought, that must be important. And I made a couple attempts to start a service group with our study group, and they just didn't work out. We couldn't agree on what to do, what service looked like. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go off and
Do your thing.
do my thing. So, you know, I started doing outreach, among other things, and you know, I got on the general council of the fellowship and served on the outreach committee for, I don't know, at least 15 years, and just went to a lot of expos and events, and did a lot of graphic design work. I was always trying to find ways to attract people, get better at it. And over the years, we, you know, made a lot of different things to hand people, and just learned how to talk to people in such a way that they could really discover the Urantia book if they wanted it. And I think over the years, I figured around maybe 3,000 books I've gotten out to people or something like that. I just do it year after year
Not
after
a
year.
lot of books.
Yeah, you know, something like that. And you know, we just did the Portland Expo, and that was, I think we got 23 books out. But it's not so much the books we got out. And of course, a lot of people took the QR code to download it, and they took literature to go home and read. You know, so a lot more people will find it. But it's really the conversations we have with people. It's like, the Urantia book doesn't really have a face. Like, nobody knows what the Urantia book readers look like. We don't have a church they can walk into. We don't have public events hardly ever. We have private events where we meet each other, but the readers meet, but we don't really have much for events where the public can come and say, who are you people? I want to find out. But
Are you a face of the Urantia book?
Am I a what?
A face?
A face.
You're
Well,
one of the
when you
faces.
go to an event, they actually see a reader. They actually meet and talk, and they find out
You are a reader.
They find out you're not a nutcase. You're an actual person that reads this book, and it's touched your life, and they can imagine themselves having a life that's touched by it too. You know, it's like they can make this connection. It's not just something out there in the ethers. You know, we get to talk to them about their lives and what they're looking for, and you know, just answer questions, and a lot of people and walk away with the book. You know. And sometimes we hear from them later, and they say, wow, thank you so much. This book's just really changed my life. And we went up to HempFest. We've been 3 years, and this year, like last year, we got 112 books placed up at HempFest in Seattle, which was quite a lot of books. And this year, Friday by noon, at least a half a dozen people would come by and say, oh my God, I got the book from you last year. Thank you so much. It's been been so great, you know, and it's so exciting to hear that. And
What would you say would be the most important or the most useful thing that you learned from the book that you use on your on a day-to-day basis?
well, most important thing, you know, I think besides service, you know, caring about other people, it's just, well, I don't know what else there is except caring about other people and making a difference for other people. I mean, if we can't help our fellow man, I guess one thing I've noticed, you know, is that you can read the Urantia book, but until you actually go out and put it to work, it's not really anything. It's like the Urantia book says, you know, knowledge that hasn't been used isn't really, you don't really own it until you've just given it to somebody else, right? You can't share it.
Although each person has would say has a different way of looking at that, in that how to put it to work may be different for all kinds of people because we're all different.
Well, we each need to find our own way of expressing ourselves. Yeah, it's not like there's one way to do anything, but I do think that we do need to have actions in the world, right? Just consuming something and not actually giving it back, right? And I think that's why Jesus took his followers out on the road, is so they would have that firsthand experience of sharing with other, you know, humans, like sharing the good news, and they just grew immensely from that experience. If he hadn't done that, he had said, well, just go read the scrolls, and if people are ready, they'll find the scrolls in the synagogue. You know, he didn't say that. He said, go forth, you know, 2 by 2, go out into the world. And, you know, I don't know if it's in the Bible, in the Urantia book, but the fields are white for the harvest. You know, we don't have enough laborers out in the field. Bring me more laborers, right? And I feel like to those that have been given, more is expected, right? I don't want to get to the pearly gates and St. Peter says, I gave you this great treasure, but you just, you put it under your mattress. You just kept it to yourself. You didn't share it with all your, you know, so it's really important that too much to them who is given, much is, you know, much is given, much is expected. So I just feel like that's the biggest lesson I learned is my only thing to do in life is to share what I have with others and to help them find their way in the, you know, on their journey. We're just all fellow travelers. You know, we're all heading to the mansion worlds, but why not gain as much ground as we can and do as much good and create as much brother and sisterhood as we can while we're here? You know, to me, that's the goal of life. It's just, you know, life well lived. Don't lay down before your troubles. You know, get up, rise again. You know, go forth, and don't let any excuses get in your way. Just, yeah, life's hard. Yeah, maybe introducing the Urantia book's hard. So what? Just go out and keep doing it. Eventually, you'll get really good at it. Yeah, just takes that effort, that determination. I think what really drives me is my love of other people. I really care about. You know, it's like they deserve to have the good stuff, right? Why would I say I got the good stuff, but I'm not letting you have any of it? You know, why would I do that? You know, it's like, wow.
Do you have any question for Thomas? What would you ask him?
Oh, anyway. My sister, all right.
I was just thinking we're genetic brother and sister, but we're also brother sister in the spirit of God, fellowship, love, sharing.
Yeah. It's fun to have a sister that reads the Urantia book too. And my partner reads it, and my kids read it, and my ex reads it. That's all kind of cool. It's like nice to be in a world where people enjoy, you know, the fruits of the Spirit that way. Just have that insight to share and live by, and everybody should have it. Eventually, I think the whole planet will know Jesus and live that way, and our only job is just to kind of inch it down the road. You know, we make our contribution to the Supreme as we can on this planet, and it's not always easy, but that's no reason to not do it. So.